Today I'm reviewing Upstep Orthotics. So Upstep is a custom orthotics company. You fill out a questionnaire online about your pain areas, then they send you a foam impression kit. You step into it, put it in the mail, send it back to them, and then for me, about 4 weeks after sending out the impression kit, my custom orthotics arrived. Um, I have both, but I cut into the other one so I could show you guys a little bit about what's inside and talk to you about my overall thoughts. So, upon receiving them, I was happy about one thing and a little disappointed about the other. The positive is that it's clearly very well constructed. The plastic shell that is kind of covered here by a felt layer is really strong and rigid. I'm trying to bend it. It's not bending anywhere. There's a really nice heel cup, and there is some customization along the arch. It's a little hard to see, but there's a little bit of a pillow right here, or pellet, P-E-L-O-T, which is a raised area that provides a little bit more support under the forefoot of the arch. And then there's this really nice deep heel cup. What I was disappointed about is for nearly $250, I got no customization in the front. I mean, this is just a piece of foam. I think you can see. So I have some toe pain. I don't have bunions, but if I did, this would be even worse. And yeah, the forefoot is honestly really disappointing, especially the fact that they get my whole impression from stepping into the foam, but this is all just a piece of felt. So to get a better look inside, I cut through. It was very hard to cut through the plastic part, which speaks to how high quality material they use. And what you can see inside is that there's 3 pieces of foam. There's this sort of top black foam layer. Then underneath the arch, there's this pink, I would say 2 millimeter layer of foam. And then there's a tan layer of foam that goes under the metatarsal. So some metatarsal padding, which is nice. So overall, high quality, but no forefoot customization. The other thing that was a little bit strange about them is the heel cup is very deep, but underneath there's kind of probably, I want to say, a centimeter of plastic still. So if I were to show you guys here, this is all solid plastic. The heel cup stops much earlier than how deep this is. So when you step on them, you have kind of a tilting effect of your foot, where all of your weight is kind of being redistributed down towards the toe area. And that's particularly disappointing given that this toe area has no customization or support. So all the really great arch support that is provided is a little bit negated because your foot is placed in this downward position. So when I put them in my shoes at first, before I cut it, I did a 1 mile walking test, and yeah, they fit well into my shoes. My feet fit on them. I can't say exactly how custom they are. I mean, there's really nice arch support that fit my foot, but it's not like it totally handled the joints in my toes or in the metatarsal area where I could fit in really, really snugly. But rather the arch was just, very pronounced. I could feel it. And yeah, it was a comfortable walk. It wasn't, I didn't have too many positives or negatives. I could really feel that my heels were elevated relative to my forefoot. So I think if I used them for a little bit longer, I might have gotten some soreness, but otherwise it was pretty, pretty regular. Other features of the Upsteps to note, in terms of the customization on the bottom, I was a little, I don't know, I was hoping for something a little bit fancier than just this sticker that had my name on it. It would have been nice to have an engraving or perhaps a laser impression, something that elevated the orthotic a little bit beyond just this white sticker. I've gotten orthotics from several other custom companies, and they all had something, just a little bit more elevated. Um, Other things to note. So they mention on their website that it has really good moisture wicking properties and airflow, and you can see that there's all these perforations on the top layer of the orthotic. However, from the bottom, it's completely covered, completely solid, and there's a thick layer of plastic that has no permeability whatsoever. And I would imagine that if you were doing a long run in these, there would be very poor airflow. That said, that typically isn't a problem for most people, so I wouldn't let that sway you one way or the other if you're not a marathoner or you're doing lots of running or working out. Other things from the bottom, you can tell that there is this a little additional metatarsal padding. You can feel it when you walk, and it is nice, but it only helps the lateral four toes. It doesn't help your big toe. And again, you can see just in the forefoot and to the toes, there's just no additional customizations whatsoever. So all in all, they're a good orthotic. They feel well made. They were comfortable, but nothing that got me particularly excited. The one other thing to note is I do not have pronation or supination issues, meaning my ankles don't roll in or roll out when I walk. If I did, I'm curious how these orthotics would adjust for it. When you step into the foam impression kit, whatever way your ankle is tilted will be impressed into that foam impression kit. So if your ankles roll out and you step in, the inner part of your foot is going to push down a lot more. And I would imagine that if they're just using the foam kit, because there's no gait analysis, nobody's watching me stand or move, it's just what gets into that foam impression kit that's the basis for the customization. I'd be curious to know if the orthotic here was really translating that tilt. I would be concerned about that. You can note in the questionnaire, there's an open-ended section where you can note I have pronation, I have supination, but most people don't know, or they use the wrong term. And it's hard for me to really believe that the orthotics can help with pronation and supination issues just from the foam impression alone. Other things about the whole process, it's very easy. They've clearly kind of perfected the questionnaire, sending the foam impression kit, having it sent back process, but it is long, and you know that the fact that you have to wait for the kit to come is pretty, it can be kind of frustrating, especially if you're already in a lot of pain and you need these quickly. The other thing that's not totally evident from the website before you purchase, after you buy, you have another questionnaire that you're expected to fill out. And they just ask for a little bit more details about the type of shoe that you're going to put your orthotics in. In fact, they had me take a picture of the actual shoe with the insoles out of it. But they didn't ask for any measurements of that shoe. So it's not like they are able to match it perfectly into the shoe. But it did a pretty good job. All in all, if I were to give these a customization rating, I would say somewhere between 6 or 7 out of 10. I was very impressed with the material, the strength. I'm assuming the customization of the arch. That said, there's quite severe arches they put into it, and I'm not sure I need this much arch support. But I definitely did feel supported. But it loses points for having no customization from the toe all the way till about here in the forefoot. In terms of their customer service and all of their return policies, it's very clear what they're offering. You're able apparently to message them that there's some issue with your orthotic and they'll do a redo. That said, they'll only do it after 21 days. So if after a week you're noticing that, hey, this really isn't working for me, they'll still make you wait another 2 weeks before they'll take your ticket and then offer you either a free remake or allow you to return it. There is also a return fee. So they say 180-day satisfaction guarantee. that's nice, but if you don't like it, you still are out something like $20, which isn't a lot, but it is worth noting. Um, so last thing I'll say is that for foam impression orthotics, they're very nice. I've done several other foam impression orthotics, Built, for example, Built Labs. These look nothing like my Built Labs orthotics, so there's clearly some difference in terms of the process, even though my foam impression is the same. And you can check out my review of my Built orthotics too, so you can compare how it stacks up. So yeah, thank you so much for taking the time, and leave some comments if you have any more questions. I'm happy to answer them.